In LA this week, they are fasting to call attention to the plight of immigrant children who have crossed the border and with the hope of effecting immigration reform. And a council member is showing his support.
A huge criminal takedown as 500 law enforcement officers target a Crips gang in South LA. I'm Anna Marcos, and that's coming up.
Over 100 kids from LA's inner city get to experience the joys of summer camp, some of them for the very first time. I'm Gil Reyes here at the great outdoors of Camp Wesson. I'll have that story next.
Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. One council member is clear about which side of the immigration debate he stands on as he takes part in a fast in hopes that Congress will act to protect and shelter children who have crossed the border from Central America. Anna Marcos reports.
An encouraging fist bump for each of the 6 young activists fasting in support of immigrant refugee children as Councilmember Gil Cedillo visited the Children Over Politics campaign.
It has been a little difficult for some of us. Some of us have never really fasted for this long. But the fact that we are sacrificing ourselves for these children and we're trying to spiritually connect with them and feel what they're feeling in those detention centers really means a lot.
Cedillo himself fasted for a day, joining people and community groups around the nation, urging Congress and President Barack Obama to grant refugee status to thousands of undocumented children who are now coming through the border from Central America. Often they are unaccompanied by adults. Busloads of immigrants have been stopped by residents in the Riverside County town of Murrieta and not allowed to enter.
These children are leaving their home countries in Central America because enormous violence. Their family members are killed. They are under threat of being killed. And the international law and the law here in this country says that refugee children will be taken care of.
And we are here to support the rule of law and support the protection of these young people. It's a crisis. It's a moral and human crisis that's taking place in our nation.
Members of LA labor unions also joined in support by organizing a food and book drive for the children and their families.
The letter carriers made a donation of 5,000 pounds of food. The teachers union, several hundred books. The hotel workers union, dental products. The Teamsters with backpacks. Steel workers gave money. Laborers gave money.
Although the busloads of immigrants have been diverted to other towns for processing, authorities say expect more. And that could lead to more confrontations and protests and to campaigns like this one. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The Children Over Politics campaign consists of community groups, faith leaders, students, labor unions, and concerned citizens. And that takes us to This Week in Tweets, where we take a look at notable posts on social media, not just on Twitter, but on Facebook, Instagram, and beyond. This week, Councilman Gil Cedillo took to his Facebook page, where he shared this group photo with the caption, "Stop by the Children Over Politics Center at Placita Overa to commend the youth fasting in support of the Murrieta children." He also posted this photo of tickets to hear President Barack Obama speak at LA Trade Tech during the president's 2-day stop in LA that also included fundraising events. Cedillo wrote, "Going to see the President of the United States at LA Trade Tech, hoping to speak with him about children, refugees, and deportations." Immigration reform was also the focus at an annual conference dedicated to fighting for the civil rights of Latinos. Gil Reyes reports from the LA Convention Center.
The National Council of La Raza opens its annual convention in Los Angeles with a surprise visit from children's favorites, Mickey and Minnie Mouse. Perhaps it's only fitting, since much of NCLR's focus these days is on the influx of children illegally entering the U.S. from Central America.
It is with open arms that we welcome you to this city.
LA Mayor Eric Garcetti says Los Angeles would help shelter immigrant children detained after crossing the border. Despite protests in Murrieta and other cities opposing this, He's siding with immigrants, young and old, while urging Congress to pass comprehensive immigration reform.
Our economy suffers when our immigrants aren't integrated in. Our public safety suffers when people don't have driver's licenses. Our overall city is weaker when we have two parallel tracks. I want to see those integrated.
Days later, NCLR released results of a poll showing U.S. Latinos are overwhelmingly concerned about jobs and the economy, despite the recession being over. 70% of Latino responders stated they aren't earning enough to cover basic expenses, while more than half are concerned about someone in their family losing their job.
So still a very long way to go. Nowhere near a majority of Latinos say that their situation is improving.
In fact, 25% of Latinos believe the economy has actually gotten worse since the recession. The poll took responses from 500 Latino registered voters. Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The National Council of Raza is the largest Latino advocacy group in the nation. 55% of responders also stated they would support candidates who voted for a minimum wage increase. Call it a success for the city's latest gang bust. Operation Thumbs Down was a massive multi-agency effort by hundreds of law enforcement officers, resulting in more than a dozen arrests. Anna Marcos reports.
Gun-toting law officials hit the streets of South L.A. In their sights, the Rollin' 30s Harlem Crips, one of the oldest and most violent multi-generational gangs in L.A. This was Operation Thumbs Down. The video here shows a previous takedown from the same operation. 500 members of the FBI, the LAPD, and other agencies launched the massive gang bust.
The folks being taken down are a surprise. They don't know we're coming, and we knock on the door, and sometimes we have to use force to enter.
This marks the third takedown for Operation Thumbs Down, which has gone after the Harlem Crips for the last 2 years and arrested more than 140 suspects. The name Thumbs Down comes from a hand gesture the gang uses. This last bust netted 23 more indictments and 13 new arrests.
Gang members and violent gangs in Los Angeles are often relentless in pursuing their criminal enterprises. We need to be even more aggressive, more relentless.
Authorities say they target the criminal enterprise system, going after the shot callers and leaders in operations that include drug and weapons trafficking.
If we target the leadership and target the people making the decisions, that are making the strategies for the gangs, that are setting up the networks, that are selling the narcotics, that are selling the weapons, that are laundering money, that are making money, that we have a much more effective opportunity to disrupt and dismantle what that gang is doing.
And even as the jail doors slam on these suspects, police officials are already hard at work building up more cases against the gang. The takedowns are far from over. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The Rollin' 30s Harlem Crips controls a 1.5 square mile area south of the 10 freeway in South LA. That small area has seen close to 30 homicides in the last few years, more than 1,100 robberies, and more than 1,000 aggravated assaults. They are victims twice over. I'm talking about hit-and-run victims. First, they are struck, then they are left at the scene by the person behind the wheel. Now, city leaders are voicing their support for legislation that will help authorities track down hit-and-run suspects and hold them accountable. Yana Kay reports.
Damian Kevitt is lucky to be alive today, but he did lose his right leg after being hit by a minivan last year while riding his bike and dragged a quarter of a mile down the street. The driver never stopped.
It was one of those moments where you're literally thinking, am I going to make it? This is the ultimate survival battle.
Despite 20 broken bones, Damian did make it, and now he's supporting proposed state legislation by Assemblyman Mike Gatto that seeks to bring more hit-and-run drivers to justice.
Most people believe that one of the worst things that a human can do to another human is to leave somebody on the side of the road to die. And it's time for our laws to reflect our values.
Proposed State Bill AB 47 would create a yellow alert system, allowing law enforcement to employ the statewide emergency alert system, currently in use for child abductions, to also notify the public when a serious or fatal hit-and-run accident has occurred. According to a 2012 AAA study, there are nearly 20,000 hit-and-run accidents that happen in Los Angeles every year, resulting in 4,000 injuries. Officials say 3 out of 4 people who are injured or killed are bicyclists or pedestrians. Councilmember Mitch Englander has harsh words for hit-and-run suspects.
If you flee a hit and run, if you get into a car accident and you are cowardly enough to leave the scene and you flee and you turn into a coward, you are now committing a crime.
If the bill is signed into law, hit-and-run alerts will be displayed on freeway billboards, providing drivers with the car's description. In the meantime, Damien continues to bike ride and is currently training to bike the LA Marathon. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
It's important to remember that the accident may be just that. You may not even be at fault, but it's once you leave the scene that a felony occurs. If AB 47 is signed into law, it would take effect in January of 2015. The Berlin Wall Monument in Los Angeles represents the human rights struggle of millions, and now former South African President Nelson Mandela takes his rightful place on the historic wall. Yana Kay reports.
Renowned Los Angeles muralist Ken Twitchell poses next to his latest art project, a portrait of human rights leader Nelson Mandela that he painted on a section of the Berlin Wall Monument, an outdoor exhibit that's part of a permanent art collection at the Vendy Museum located on Wilshire Boulevard.
I wanted to honor the integrity of the wall, at the same time honor Mandela. And so I did it so it would be transparent like a drawing would be.
Twitchell was commissioned to paint the mural alongside images of Presidents John F. Kennedy and Ronald Reagan to honor the Nobel Peace Prize winner and former South African president.
Everyone will look to this and have an image, have a thought, and never forget Nelson Mandela and what he did, what his struggle was.
Councilmember Tom LaBonge was joined at the Vendy Museum by various state and local leaders, including Congresswoman Maxine Waters, Councilmember Curran Price, and other dignitaries to officially present the mural. Mandela died last December at the age of 95. He is remembered for his fight against apartheid and for inspiring millions to fight social injustice. And now his memory and struggle will live on, cemented in stone on the historical Berlin Wall. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
The Vendy Museum is located at 5900 Wilshire Boulevard between Genesee and Spalding Avenues. Over 100 kids from South LA recently experienced 3 days and 2 nights of the great outdoors. Gil Reyes reports from this annual summer camp organized by City Council President Herb Wesson.
Are you ready for the summer?
It's a first for many of these kids from LA's inner city. Their first time to rock climb, practice archery, and take part in the seasonal rite of passage for many young Americans, summer camp.
What's it like out here? Tell us.
It's really good.
We are back for the annual summertime tradition known as Camp Wesson, returning for its 9th year. This time we're at Hanson Dam Recreation Center, home to a multitude of outdoor activities, including this humongous pool where the kids are having fun.
It's extra special.
Extra special for South LA area councilman Herb Wesson, who created the camp 9 years ago. It provides kids whose families can't afford traditional summer camp 3 days of fun in the sun, all at no cost. Meals, t-shirts, and swim trunks included.
So this does a lot for my heart. I think it does a lot for the kids. And today I snuck my grandchildren out. So I have my 6-year-old grandson, 4-year-old granddaughter, and 3-year-old granddaughter. And it was a challenge finding clothes that fit them, but we succeeded.
Donors, volunteers, and groups like Community Build and Project Save help make this camp possible.
I love this.
Reporting from Camp Wesson, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Nighttime activities included campfires, stargazing with high-powered telescopes, and a Polynesian-style luau. Broadway's Globe Theater is once again lighting up the downtown theater district and helping to breathe new life back into the historic corridor. Yana Kay reports.
3, 2, 1.
For the first time since the 1980s, the Globe Theater marquee on Broadway shines once again. Its iconic neon lights and spinning globe were fully restored and brought back to life thanks to the theater's new owner.
I'm falling in love with downtown and falling in love with the Globe Theater because for me downtown is the soul of Los Angeles. You have a specific energy. It's unique.
City officials and community members gathered for the official relighting ceremony, marking a major milestone for not only the Globe, but for the entire Broadway corridor.
You know, one of the best things to bring a district to life is lights. And so we're now seeing Broadway come back to life with all of these lights.
And the lights are just the beginning. Other parts of the Globe Theater are also undergoing renovations as part of Councilmember Jose Huizar's Bringing Back Broadway initiative, a 10-year effort to revitalize the historic downtown district.
One at a time, we are seeing these amazing historic gems brought back to life, and we look forward to continuing that momentum.
Built in 1913, the Globe was unique in that it was the only theater that accommodated full-scale productions. But now the new owner says the theater will serve as a venue for live performances, corporate events, and more. A sure sign that more change is yet to come. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
The Globe Theater is set to be fully operational later this year. And the historic downtown corridor isn't done yet. Plans are underway to open another hotel in the district. Also, police warn against a popular prepaid credit card scam, and a community garden gets spruced up. These stories and more in CityBeat. The Seidel Group's freehand brand of hospitality properties geared towards a younger traveler will soon come to historic downtown with the purchase of the 13-story 1940s commercial exchange building at 416 West 8th Street. The property's location at 8th and Olive is 1 block from the proposed downtown LA streetcar line. It will also serve as a connection point between the convention center and the rapidly revitalizing Broadway corridor, the focus of Councilman Jose Huizar's Bringing Back Broadway initiative. The development of the property into a hotel is expected to create hundreds of new jobs. The LAPD is helping to get the word out about a popular scam involving prepaid debit cards, such as one seen here. Police say scammers usually call unsuspecting victims pretending to be from the Department of Water and Power or the IRS and demanding that the victim purchase a prepaid debit card for an outstanding balance or risk having their utilities shut off or legal action taken against them. The victim is then asked to call back with the PIN to the card, allowing the scammers access to that money. Police say be suspicious of callers who demand immediate payment for any reason. The Hubert Humphrey Recreation Center in Pacoima gets a new playground designed by Shane's Inspiration. Shane's Inspiration designs and builds wheelchair-accessible playgrounds for kids of all abilities. The site consists of 2 play areas, one for kids up to 5 years old and another for the 5 to 12 age group, which features a sea life theme. Various elements of the playground are designed with handrails or other safety features for children who need assistance balancing or traversing the playground. The Howard Finn Park Community Garden in Tujunga received a spruce-up recently. Councilmember Felipe Fuentes, along with community groups, cleared out weeds, picked up trash, and planted some trees as a way for families to learn more about growing healthy food in their neighborhood. The garden consists of a fruit tree orchard planted with peach, plum, lemon, apple, and apricot trees, as well as a separate area for vegetables and native and non-native plants. Since taking office a year ago, Councilmember Fuentes has promoted and encouraged healthy living, a clean environment, and access to fresh food. The Van Nuys Police Station is celebrating 50 candles on its birthday cake. Anna Marcos takes us to the station's open house event and shares a bit of its history.
A little community outreach goes a long way, especially when you're celebrating your 50th birthday. The Van Nuys Police Station threw its doors open to the public for its big 5-0, and it may have even reeled in some new potential recruits in the process.
I've changed my mind on how I see the police. I think it's very tough, and I thought it wasn't for me, but now they talked to me and they showed me what they do, and it's not all about the hard work, but it's also fun, and then it changed my mind.
A lot has changed for the Van Nuys Station in 50 years. It was once the headquarters for the LAPD in the Valley, but with the opening of other stations such as the Valley Bureau and the Valley Traffic Station, this facility has become more of a community-oriented center.
We have our community programs, our youth programs that we launch out of here for the Van Nuys area. And then we still house our commercial crimes, which is identity theft, and our scientific investigation division, and our abused child unit are all still parts of the Van Nuys family here.
And now the Van Nuys station has opened a mini library for the public.
It's here to assist the big library that's closed on certain days of the week, but this is open 24/7. So if a parent has business to do with the police department, they have their little ones, they have a place to put them where they're safe.
And of course, looking at all the LAPD toys and gadgets is a fun community experience in itself. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Some of the displays included the Bomb Squad, SWAT, Air Support, Valley Traffic, and more. And in another part of the valley, heavy machinery gave way to manpower as volunteers joined their council member to help clean up some valley neighborhoods. Yana K takes us to Operation Bobcat.
10-year-old Diego Orozco is working hard shoveling dirt into this trash bag. He's spending the day helping clean up part of the Los Angeles River in Reseda. And at such a young age, Diego already knows the importance of maintaining a clean neighborhood.
We think that nature is important for our city and for our lives because trees give us oxygen and take in our carbon dioxide so we can breathe.
The cleanup is part of Councilmember Bob Blumenfield's 6 community action teams, or Bobcats for short, that he announced last July to address various issues in the communities he serves. This beautification project is one of those efforts designed to clean valley neighborhoods.
We're working to make this whole place beautiful, to make it a fitting and appropriate and contemplative walk along the water and make it into what was a community eyesore, make it into a community asset.
Volunteers got help in the form of a sanitation pickup truck dedicated to helping remove all sorts of trash and debris.
We use that truck for physically getting the job done when we can't move the wheels of bureaucracy to get something to happen fast enough. We jump in the truck and we just do it.
The truck can also be used to pick up bulky items from neighborhood streets. Blumenfield says he hopes these cleanup efforts will add just that much extra shine to proud valley neighborhoods. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
To report blight or to request a cleanup, residents can call 818-774-4330. There's always room for one more farmers market here in Los Angeles. One of the newest markets opened just a few months ago in Glassell Park, a welcome addition to those who live and work in the area. This new farmers market is located at 3150 North San Fernando Road, right outside the new Goodwill Workforce and Enrichment Center in Glassell Park.
The ease of parking and having live music is really great, and having tables, and if you have any money left, you can go to Goodwill and buy something.
Councilmember Mitch O'Farrell's office partnered with CLA, which stands for Sustainable Economic Enterprises of Los Angeles, to open up this market at what they hope will become a community gathering place.
We think it's really part of building healthy communities and really enriching the community with these great food products and local produce items, and it's delicious.
Live music and an open-air market, a combination organizers and vendors hope will be hard to resist.
We're happy to be here at Glassell Park, and we want fresh fruit and vegetables for the community. That's why we're here.
It's been good. This is only our second time at this market, but we love the neighborhood.
And it's not often you go to a supermarket and learn where the food you just purchased came from or how your dollars will be spent.
So we have an animal rescue in Mojave, about 90 miles north, and all of our proceeds go to supporting our animal rescue, feeding the animals. We have 800 animals, 700 goats, 350 make milk that provides for our goat cheese, and it's all free range. We don't have a kill policy, so a lot of goat farms will let their goats be sold off for meat when they're older, but we let ours live out their lives all together.
While the Glassell Park Farmers Market is the new kid on the block, the supporters say it's got great potential to becoming a neighborhood staple. The Glassell Park Farmers Market is open Thursdays from 3 to 7 p.m. It's the 8th farmers market operated by CLA here in the city of Los Angeles. And we devote this week's list of things to do to National Night Out, which is observed nationwide. Here are just a few events around our city that are putting the spotlight on community building and crime busting in our neighborhoods. Whether it's a full-blown block party or a visit from the local police representative, for many communities throughout this nation, August 5th is National Night Out, a time when the spirit of community is celebrated and the right of people to enjoy safety from crime is honored. And one National Night Out celebration will be taking place at the Poinsettia Rec Center on its sports field at 7341 Willoughby Avenue. This massively attended blockbuster event will take place from 5:30 to 8 p.m., hosted by the LAPD and the Melrose Action Neighborhood Watch. There will be pet adoptions, free tree giveaways, activities for kids, and you'll get to sample great food from area restaurants. Go to melroseaction.org. Meanwhile, the LAPD West Valley Division will be presenting its Movie in the Park event as part of National Night Out. The movie, The Sandlot, will be playing at around 6 p.m. at LAPD SWAT Officer Randall D. Simmons Park, at the corner of Van Owen Street and Wilbur Avenue in Reseda, right next door to West Valley Station. You're encouraged to bring a picnic. We've posted the event flyer on our LA This Week Facebook page. And over at Northridge Park, you can join Councilmember Mitchell Englander for Movie Under the Stars for National Night Out, America's Night Out Against Crime. The councilman's outdoor movie screenings are a way for families to have a safe and fun family outing at the city's various public parks. This event begins at 7 p.m. with the showing of the Lego Movie beginning at nightfall, approximately 8 p.m. Bring picnics, blankets, and chairs. Admission is free and popcorn and children's activities will also be available at no charge. Northridge Park is located at 18300 Lamarche Street in Northridge. Enjoy National Night Out, and that's a look at some upcoming things to do. They've been closed for a while as they underwent a facelift, but now the Barrington Park tennis courts have reopened for business, a project made possible by community support. Anna Marcos takes us there.
Wow. Playing tennis is a family affair for Lois, Colleen, and Ethan Orphis. They are among the first residents to enjoy the newly rehabbed tennis courts at Brentwood's Barrington Park.
This is 3 generations playing together right now. It's my grandson, my daughter-in-law, and me, I'm the grandma.
2, 1, tennis.
Yeah. Councilmember Mike Bonin helped find city money for the project, but he also got help from the LA Parks Foundation.
Recently, we were able to improve the children's playground and the basketball courts. There's a lot more that can be done here, and there's a lot more that will be done here.
The court was faded, a lot of cracks, and the fencing was rusted, and it's important to have given an opportunity to enjoy a court that they could play safely in and that they could enjoy.
But the $80,000 project might not have happened without community support. The Archer School for Girls donated $20,000.
If there's anything on the courts, especially if there's like a crack or if anything might be throwing you off, that could affect your whole entire game and how you play.
With new flooring and fencing, serving a ball on the court never looked so smooth. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Besides the tennis and basketball courts and the playground, the park also has an indoor gym, community room, volleyball courts, and football and soccer fields. And that's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. A reminder that you could catch us online at LACityView.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.